What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got Sui, Mask Network, and Mishi. These three cryptos have been pumping the most over the last 24 hours, and I'm sure you're all wondering, why are they pumping? How high will they go? Could they crash instead? If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. We're going to be reviewing the top 3 performing cryptos over the last 24 hours from Monday through Thursday, trying to get those videos out to you as quickly as we can. So if you do appreciate that kind of content, be sure to stick around. Before we get started, guys, just do keep in mind nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal crypto trading analysis. What I see in the charts might be different than what you see, and honestly, if it is, then that's great. The more difference of opinion we have, the better investors and traders will become, as I like to say. So with that being said, guys, let's jump right into it. Of course, first we have Sui, and always, guys, we have to ask ourselves, why is a crypto pumping? You know, what is the catalyst? You know, what is this something that's going to continue pushing the crypto higher? In Sui's case, I actually couldn't really find, always a simple way to check is to check the Twitter/X feed. I couldn't really find anything that was like super concrete that would explain why there was a huge run up, which of course, when you can't find an obvious catalyst, guys, then you go over to CoinMarketCap, click on the markets tab, and then sort by trading volume and say, okay, where is this thing being traded? And this is where things are really interesting, guys. As you can see, around 10%, or I guess 9% of Sui's trading volume was coming from Upbit, which is a South Korean exchange. You can see here it's trading against Korean won. And you'll notice that the price of Sui is actually a little bit higher on Upbit than it is on other exchanges. And what that means is that there's a lot of buying pressure coming from Upbit. And you'll actually see it's a similar phenomenon with Mask Network. As I mentioned earlier video, guys, do keep in mind that there's a lot of, I don't want to say manipulation, but there seem to be basically these coordinated pump and dump groups out of South Korea that will basically get together and they'll work together to like pump and dump basically a certain crypto. In Sui's case, I think it's a little bit different because Sui is kind of like a very big crypto. It's harder to kind of do that pump and dump. That's one thing. And the second thing is that Sui belongs to this GameFi narrative, which I think is going to be very big. And I do think that we're seeing a lot of, basically, speculation going into the GameFi industry. And you guys might remember that over the last couple of weeks, we've been covering quite a few GameFi cryptos and pointing out and saying, it looks like these GameFi cryptos are going to wake up. And Sui is definitely part of that basket. And this ties in perfectly, guys, to the chart, which is looking insanely bullish in my opinion. So Sui, honestly, guys, is a crypto, full disclosure, I hold Sui personally. Actually bought back here, around the time that it really crashed over the summer. So I'm up quite nicely personally, not trading, just holding. But what's crazy about Sui is, of course, I've been watching this pattern for a very, very long time. Basically, I knew almost from the summer that, once we start retesting these levels around $2, that the next move could be very sizable. And this is what we're looking at here. This is why I kind of have to, move the chart around manually here. So as always, guys, we can do our handy target math. We have our starting point of around 80 cents, resistance of around $2, which of course Sui is now a little bit above that. Support around $1.7 if it does get rejected from resistance. Again, guys, it has to close above resistance, kind of be very definitively there. Again, we're on the daily chart, always using the daily chart here. And so Sui needs to close above the daily for at least a couple days above this $2 level before it keeps powering higher. And if that does happen, guys, I do think that Sui is going to see a pretty explosive move again using our target math. The difference between the starting point and resistance, is technically 1.2 there. But regardless, guys, the target basically is going to 3.2, 3.3, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't really matter, guys. It's going to be a huge move, looking at around 60% potentially, going up to around $3.2 or $3.3 for Sui. So this is what I'm watching personally. And of course, the upside there is around 60%. Downside, if it does get rejected, you're looking at around 20%. So it is only like kind of like a, in terms of a risk reward ratio, you're only looking at around a 3. But again, guys, when we're dealing with, as I've been saying, the risks in the market are skewed to the upside. I think this is pretty clear now with Bitcoin, approaching all-time highs and possibly hitting all-time highs by the time you see this video. So yeah, guys, I think Sui is going to keep powering higher here in the next couple weeks. And I do think that this $3.3 target will be hit. And I do think that that's going to mark kind of like a local top. And then we're going to see a consolidation back down, and then Sui will continue moving higher sometime earlier in the year, early next year, sorry. And I think Sui is going to hit a pretty sizable target, probably somewhere close to $18 or $20. But guys, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're going to take things one step at a time. And as things look today, like from my perspective, I think that Sui is getting ready to go higher here, and it's going to hit that $3.3 target in the next few days, maybe in the next couple of weeks. But I do think it's going to be probably, I'm leaning more towards in the next week or so, especially depending on the election outcome, which of course, is a wild card, which could be bullish or bearish depending on how it plays out. I'm not going to get into politics here, guys. As you might have noticed, we were using Bybit there. And if you do want to get that Bybit deal, then be sure to check out that link in the description. We have up to $60,000 in rewards. And of course, we also have deals on other exchanges like Blowfin, OKX, KuCoin, and Binance. I personally love all of these exchanges, guys, and especially with those trading fee discounts, it's going to help you out a lot if you're trading frequently, not just if you're trading in size. As I've always said, these deals are going to help you out a lot, especially if you're trading frequently, no matter how much capital you're using. Even if it's just a few $100s, few $1,000s, you'll save a lot of money by taking advantage of these deals. It doesn't cost you a thing. We get a cut of your fees. The exchange gets a new user. It's a win-win-win. So do check that out using the link in the description. It's going to help you out a lot during this bull market. Trust me when I say that. Anyways, guys, moving on here, we have Mass Network, and this is where things get a little bit interesting again. So of course, same kind of idea, guys. We have to ask ourselves, why is Mass Network pumping? So we have to basically go back through these tweets and say, okay, is there anything in here that's really like, wow, like, they listed on an exchange, or there's some like really significant kind of like news that happened in the last 24, maybe 48 hours. And of course, we can't really see anything that significant, like a throwback Tuesday. That's interesting. I thought throwback was only on Thursdays. Anyways, guys, to each their own. So of course, Mass Network, nothing really clear here in terms of why it's pumping. So again, we have to go to CoinMarketCap, check the markets tab, sort by volume, and say, okay, where's this thing being traded? And this is where things get interesting. So of course, we're seeing a lot of trading on kind of these offshore exchanges, that are not very well known. And that's of course a little bit of a cause for concern, but lo and behold, we can see again that there's a lot of trading of Mask on Upbit, and you can see the price is actually quite substantially deviated, above what's being shown even. And so here in CoinMarketCap, it's showing $3.06, probably because it's taking this from more reputable exchanges. But even when you compare it to the other ones here, guys, it's like 3.14 on Upbit. That tells you there's a lot of buying pressure coming from Upbit. And again, this is probably, unfortunately, guys, probably because of some pump and dump groups in South Korea, which like to do this type of stuff. And I'm not just making this up. I've spoken with some influencers in the South Korean crypto industry, and they basically confirmed to me that, yeah, this is the stuff that kind of goes on. So, I trust this source, and I'm not saying that, you have to trust me, but I would definitely, just keep that in the back of your mind, that at least it's something that's possible. Let's just put it that way. You don't have to take my word for it, but just keep in the back of your mind, it's possible this is what's happening. In my opinion, that's what is happening. But again, guys, to each their own. You're free to have your own opinion and say, no, I think it's genuine. I think there's real fundamentals here. Doesn't matter, guys. The charts are the charts, and we're going to trade what the charts are telling us. So in this case, you guys might remember that once upon a time, to be honest, I don't know if I did it on the channel, if it was in a practice round, so much content being put up by the Coin Bureau guys, and I'm involved in more than just these videos. So it's funny, someone in the comments said, you talk like you need to get somewhere. And to be honest, guys, I do need to get somewhere. I need to get to all the other things I got to do. I absolutely love what I do, and this is just one of many things that I do. So I do apologize if I'm kind of, like rushing in and rushing out. But I do believe that I'm hoping at least that I'm getting out this information that is helpful to you guys. So now looking at Mass Network, so this is where things get interesting. As I was saying, I think that I was doing either a practice run or had done earlier in a video. We were looking at Mass Network, and it was hitting this resistance of around $3. That was kind of like the target. That target has now been hit. And now we can kind of zoom out a little bit and be a little bit, I don't want to say ambitious, but we can kind of start thinking bigger picture in terms of the starting point and resistance levels and all the target math and everything. So with a starting point of around $2.2, resistance of around $3.6, there's a difference there of $1.4, and that gives us a nice round $5 target, which if we zoom out, it actually looks like a pretty, you can confirm again, guys, just by going back in time. And again, this is on the daily chart. You can go back in time and you can say, okay, does $5 make sense as a target level? And you can see, because it's also like a very strong kind of like resistance, lots of trading, lots of like tops and bottoms happening around that, wicking up and wicking down to that $5 range. And of course, it's a very key psychological level. So not surprised at all that's basically that's the target, basically based on the calculation. And of course, in terms of risk reward, we're looking at around around a 2.4. So 35% to the upside, around 15% to the downside, with support, of course, being $3. But do keep in mind, guys, again, you'll see if we zoom in a little bit here, you'll see that that Mask hasn't gotten up to the 3.6 resistance yet. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a grind to get through that, especially if this move was just like manipulation. It could take like a week just to get up to the resistance, and then maybe in the coming weeks it'll hit that $5 target. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not like something like Sui where it just seems to have a lot of momentum and not just like manipulation. For Mask, I think it's going to take a little bit more grind, a little bit more time, especially in Sui's case, it's basically at all-time highs, whereas here you can see that between this 3.0 and 3.6, there's a lot of resistance around that range, even just over the last few months. Since the start of the year. So do keep that in mind. Mask is going to be a little bit of a grind higher. And to be honest, guys, this is the case for most altcoins, especially those that are still crawling out of the hole. But once they're out of that, that kind of bear phase from over the summer, I do think that the gains are going to be quite incredible, if I'm being honest. Anyways, guys, moving on to now Mishi. Sorry. So Mishi is interesting. Of course, it's a cat-themed meme coin. And as some of you guys might have noticed, cat-themed meme coins have kind of been picking up in popularity. Let's say it seems to be the next meme coin meta. Some of you might recall me mentioning in an earlier video that I think the next meme coin meta after these cats is probably going to be food, like food-themed meme coins and stuff. That's a little bit of a teaser there. You'll have to do your own research on which cryptos you think are going to fall into that category. But of course, we're seeing Mishi seems to be getting some traction here. Again, I think that there is a lot of rotation, just like from these meme coin whales, and these like dog theme meme coins now going to the cat theme meme coins. And especially if we check the markets tab here, guys, we can see that there's a lot of trading volume happening on Radium. Mishi doesn't seem to be listed on too many centralized exchanges, so it's all these like kind of like on-chain whales doing a lot of, let's say, a lot of interesting price action. I don't necessarily want to call it manipulation, but I do think that there's a lot of rotation going on, I guess is the word I'm looking for there. But yeah, guys, moving on now to the Mishi chart, and this is not on any exchange. This is just on Dex Tools, which I personally like. I know a lot of people like Dex Screener. I honestly can't stand the user interface. Sorry to people who are working there, or anyone who's a fan of it, but I personally love Dex Tools way more. Anyways, guys, so on Dex Tools, we can see here quite clearly that Mishi, honestly, guys, is looking pretty damn bullish. Like the resistance here is around 40 cents. And of course, with the starting point of around 10 cents, the difference there is 30 cents. And that gives us a target of 70 cents per our handy target math here. And of course, if we do see rejection from, or if Mishi sees a rejection from around 40 cents, it could probably fall back down and like chop around this like 30 cent support. And of course, it could go a little bit lower than that, could go a little bit higher than that. But again, guys, the key thing that I'm going to start repeating now, especially as we start going higher, is that we really have to see, these cryptos clear these resistance levels for at least a day or two before they keep heading higher. And in Mishi's case, I do think it's going to keep heading higher. And the risk reward ratio, guys, there is looking pretty good, around a 3. So around 75% to the upside and 25% to the downside. And again, guys, normally with meme coins, I think you have to be extremely careful. And in this case, definitely. But when you consider, guys, and this is where things get interesting, when you consider that Mishi hasn't really been listed on any centralized exchanges, you start to understand, wait a minute, I can actually see, even though there's no clear catalyst, I can actually foresee, there's a foreshadowing of a catalyst where Mishi is going to list on more centralized exchanges, simply because, guys, all these exchanges are looking at these meme coins. They're saying, wow, there's so much trading volume. I want to get some of that trading volume. I want to get some of those fees, right? Which is why we have those deals. Again, guys, take advantage of those deals in the description. Those are going to help you. But again, because when exchanges see these meme coins trading, they think, wow, I want to get those fees, so I'm going to list this crypto just to get the trading fees. And of course, by listing it, there's more inflows because it's easier for people on centralized exchanges to buy. So I suspect that the catalyst for Mishi hitting this 70-cent target will probably be a couple of centralized exchange listing, maybe starting with like a futures listing on like Bybit or something. And that kind of foreshadows a spot listing. But regardless, guys, I do think that that's what's coming for Mishi, and that's probably why it's going to pump to the 70-cent target. And as far as meme coins go, I think the risk reward there is looking pretty good, especially now that we're seeing like cats emerge at this meme coin meta. And I'll give you guys a spoiler that we're going to have a video coming out on the main channel about like the top cat theme meme coins, so do keep your eyes peeled for that. With all that being said, guys, if you want analysis of, let's say, more quality altcoins with like stronger narratives and not just memes and like some actual, let's say, fundamentals, or at least, some strong connections and not just like random meme coin whales, these are exactly the type of altcoins that we review in the Coin Bureau Club. We do weekly altcoin reviews of altcoins voted on by our members. Kind of keeps us objective. We also showcase our personal crypto portfolios as well as the cryptos that we're watching. And I do daily technical analysis on Bitcoin and Ethereum every day there. And those of you who have been keeping up will know that I've been pretty consistent with my calls around Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, any Coin Bureau Club members watching this video will know that I've been watching this pattern here on SUI for a very long time. And I've been foreshadowing this $3.3 target basically since the summer. And it looks like we're headed for that target. And I also did, call the dip in the summer, although I was a little bit, let's say, early to that. So it came a couple weeks later than expected. Similar to this rally in the fall. I predicted this rally in the fall would come in the summer, and it's coming a little bit later than expected. But, better late than never, as they say. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.